I'll just spin that round and let you know what the date is. So it's 17 minutes past 1 on the 28th of the 5th, 2021. Not the norm here. Coming to you live out of Nelson. Just wait till a couple of people come on. I'm just going to swing these over here and give you a gander at that. Caveat emptor, which Latin means warning, buyer beware, which we'd all concur with. I think if you've watched my YouTube vids before, you'll know this. Or if you've seen me on Facebook before, you'll know this. Buyer beware means the same as let those that be deceived. Okay, I've gone over this stuff a few times before. How the English language is used to deceive us and trick us by using words in the forms of spellings to create fictions. Create fictions that have got us over into this world over here, which is the world of the dead. It's a legal fiction. It's non-fiction. Okay, over here is non-fiction. Oh, sorry, fiction. Yes, fiction, sorry. Over here we have non-fiction, but over here we have fiction. Where you have your persona and your caricature and your corporation being a corpse. Oration is a dead speaking. You're in the world of legals, rules, regulations, acts, statutes, bills, legislations, enforced by the police force, policy enforcement officers using fear and intimidation to get us into contract, into constructs that are done by consent, because the con's on the table, to confuse the contract, to condone the structure, the construct of this Admiralty merchant banking slave system that we've been enticed into or unknowingly stepped foot in. And we need to get back over to here, which is the world of the living, where we're 100% responsible. All these people that want freedom, that entails responsibility and obligations. If you've got responsibilities, you've got obligations, more importantly. Okay? It needs to do with your rights and your freedoms, your morality, your integrity, your level of understanding and comprehensions and understanding and overstanding, your knowledge, speaking your truth in real estate, in reality, realty, in voice, in order, standing on the land of the living, which is sound, which is the ground, which is to affirm and affirmity. Okay, that's what I've been trying to put across to a lot of people for a wee while, and unfortunately things have kind of gone hot. But most of the people that have followed me for a wee while kind of comprehend what's been going on through the rules and regulations, getting into artificial constructs. And the thing about artificial things is they cannot have power over fact. And the fact of the matter is that we are fact in of our own rights. Okay, now you may or may not know I've been in a bit of a meeting with some people for the last couple of days. All in view of trying to garner some freedoms. Well, retain our freedoms actually and re-establish them, and to put them back into the exercising in the world of the fact. Now at the moment we've got the government is really starting to heat things up. They've started to ramp things up, and they've gone hot on a few things. Now I've been doing workshops trying to get people to comprehend the difference between legal and common law, sometimes referred to as natural law, being the law of the land, which overrides the law of the sea any day of the week, because as we see, the law of the sea to do with oceans and water, which are in fact on the land. Now recently the government has come out and they're starting to they're getting a little bit more serious about their land grab, and what's happening is they're coming out and designating areas. This one's from the Far North District Council, where the government has instructed the councils to start data mining the land, and what they're doing is they're identifying what they're calling significant natural areas. Okay, now I'm going to call them from now on SNAs, significant natural areas. Okay, so around 4,000 farmers, this is published on the 18th of March 2021. You've got around 9,000 Far North property owners with significant natural areas, or SNAs, on their land will receive a letter from the council. A significant natural area has high ecological value due to the native plants and habitat there. Many Far North property owners will already know they have an area like this on their land, and will also know about district plan rules designed to manage and protect these areas. Okay, so this is what's going on. These rat bags are so they're re-designating land here. What else do I just want to show you there? District plan. Okay, there was another one here. So this is biodiversity and significant natural areas. This one's from the New Plymouth District Council again, just outlining significant natural areas. All the councils are aware of this stuff, and they are out there now dishing out letters to the farmers to start identifying those areas on their land. Now, the thing about this significant natural areas term is it's a very nebulous term, and at the moment it might be being applied to a little area of property. I'll just maybe illustrate that for you. They might be doing that on a little area of the property. Say the property is, well, I'll just turn this around. Say this is the farmer's property here. That's his property. Okay, now the council might say, oh yeah, well you've got a significant natural area over here. And at the moment it might be a bit swampy, and there might be some ducks and wildlife and a few bits of trees going into the native bush or whatever. So now the government instead come along to the farmer, although this is all his property, that this particular area now is an SNA. Okay, significant natural area. That's what they've designated it now. Now the farmer has to fence that area off if it isn't already, and then he has to maintain that area and look after it. He still has to pay the rates on the whole area of the property, but he's not allowed to use it. Okay, he's not allowed to use it. He's not allowed to make use of that area. He's not allowed to build anything on it. Probably he's not allowed to walk across it. I'm not sure what the detail of the rules and regs around the ability to access that area. I think it's pretty much closed off. And so this is happening. So at the moment, the council's saying it's this area. But then later on, they might find, say, a little bit of mineral over here, and they'll say, oh, look, that area there is now SNA. And then they'll find something else over here. Oh, there's native tree blowing here with a native snail under it. Oh, that's an SNA. And this is what's going to happen, folks. This is regulation. This is legislation that's implementing a system to regulate farmers off their land, and ultimately, like, this is starting with farmers first off, but I mean, you can guarantee that this is going to spread not only to semi-rural but into the cities as well, folks, and this is going to affect everybody in New Zealand. This is pretty much all-out war on those who love the whenua, folks. So we've got a bit of work to do on our hands. Well, we're just going to have to start defining our lines a little bit firmer in the sand and on the land, because this legislation is virtually going to steal the property from under your feet. This is it, folks. The writing's on the wall. And when you tie this legislation that they've got here into the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights Agenda 21 2030 stages, it's that Jacinda's very proudly signed us all up to through the United Nations Accords, biodiversity and all the rest of it, all these lovely words that they use to legislate away the whenua, the land. See, they're using paper constructs to try and steal the land from under your feet. It's just like using money to steal your sweat equity. Same kind of principle, really. So we have this going on in this country at the moment. So I thought we might go into that a little bit, because I've been talking to a few people that have found ways of actually applying this, applying the power and defining the difference, clearly defining the differences between the fact and the fiction. Because fiction at no stage can ever write fact, okay? So like paper instructions can never override, can never really force you to do anything. Paper orders and paper, they can't make you do anything, folks. You have the choice. Ultimately, in your own right and of your own mind and in your own accord, you consent to the instructions that are on that piece of paper. So we really have to clearly comprehend in and of ourselves what is fiction and what is fact. Because what's happening and how the governments have done this is through the words and the legislation, which I've talked to you before in my videos as legalese. It's not English, folks, and by deception of the words, we've been deceived into thinking that the real substance that we're walking on and that we're walking around in, being our bodies, is fiction. And thereby they've created titles, mainly through the birth certificate, and they've created these titles that look like us and sound like us again, but they're not us. And these are the things that they are administering within their courts. They're administering the titles within the courts, okay? That's why they summons you, because these titles are dead entities, folks. They're corporations. Their corpses are rating. They're dead entities. They can't be heard. That's why they want to hear. They want to hear you. You have a hearing, and they summons you, because they're trying to get the living, the fact. They're trying to get the fact to put its hand up and create joinder with the piece of paper. Okay, that's the deception that's going on here. And once we start to comprehend that and figure out where it is we're able to draw these lines and how this is all working and how this applies on the real ground, then we soon realise how much power we actually have. This is pretty exciting news. It's pretty paradigm shifting stuff, because it's a matter of being able to change in each individual the difference between the fiction and the fact, which is something that I've been trying to convey to people for quite a while. And I think most people get it. You know, most people that have watched a few of my vids, you understand, you comprehend the two different worlds of living and dead that we're operating in. And this is what it is. They're trying to draw us into the world of the dead. That's how they work. Now, I've got a couple of things here we want to go over. So those were the significant natural areas that the councils are coming. So this here ultimately is a call out for all those people in the cities, all you people that have got camper vans and are looking for places to put your sleep outs or your little accommodations or whatever. You're going to have to start collaborating with the farmers, mate, because the farmers are in deep shit. Because the councils and the government and UN are coming for them. They've made it very clear. They've told us exactly what they're doing. The writing's on the wall, and there's no real time for mucking around. So all you people that are having a desperate time in the cities, you need to take what you can and get out of the cities. Now, I don't know whether you've seen Counterspin, and there might be a few other platforms now that are starting to put this information out there with a lodial title, or lodial designation on things, which is, in my mind, I define it as King's title. But it is it's pertaining to land and without impediments, without liens, without any obligations other than the ones that you create yourself. Because he creates, can destroy. Okay, you can only operate with that which you create. Now the government's created these titles, which are fictions, and they operate in artificial. They're not real. They're pieces of paper with words on them that are full of rules, regulations, acts, statutes, legislation, all the stuff that's going to keep you in that state of hypnotism, thinking, oh yeah, that's me, oh yeah, I'm Joe Smith, oh no, I was doing 60k in a 50k zone. All that is artificial construct, folks. And so we have to really comprehend how the system has got us in a state of confusion, because it's there to fuse the con, you see, to create joinder with the living and the real and the fact with the fiction and the unfathomable, in fact. And so there's on some of these platforms now, people are telling you to go out, well, not to go out there, but to, stop paying certain, stop paying the government, pretty much. Stop paying your rates, folks. Stop paying your bank loans. They're telling you to stop doing that. And I agree wholeheartedly. But what I feel is not happening is they're not really giving you the comprehension and the backup to be able to realise exactly what's going on, how this works, and then to be able to rebut the backlash that's going to come from the agents of the system, and that's going to happen. This is where being united is extremely empirical. You've got to unite. There's no differences now, folks, because they're coming after the land, and ultimately you are the land. You are the land, folks, and that's what they're coming after. That's what they've always been after. To enslave, to title the land, folks. So we're here to dissolve the titles, to dissolve the construct, the constructive fraud that is operating here. That's what we have to do. But we don't have to really go too far to be able to do these things. I mean, there's pretty clear pathways that have been set for us, because in actual fact there always must be remedy within the law, and there always is, but we just need to comprehend how that law operates, what the law is, and then we've got to understand whose law, and because law is in and of itself can be very a nebulous term unless we define it. But as far as the governments go, legislation's law, and as far as we go as living beings, commons law, God's law, sometimes defined as natural law, although that can be confusing as well, with regards to the law of nature, because natural law and the law of nature are two different things. Law of nature is kill and be killed, folks. But anyway, and that's the natural law the government talks of. Okay, that's not the law that we know inherent, and it's inalienable. Actually, Bob, you're going to like this. Here, I want you to have a look at this, Bob, actually, for you, because again, we kind of pondered over the terms of inalienable and unalienable, and I've always stood by that the term is inalienable rights, even though on the Declaration today, United Nations Declaration, Constitution, sorry, it's got unalienable. I stand by, through my current comprehension of language, that it is inalienable. We have inalienable. These rights are inside us. They are not unalienable. They are unalienable, meaning that they can be alienated from us by giving them away. By our own consent, we can give those rights away. So they are inalienable and they are unalienable. They are alienable. Sorry, they are not unalienable. And so I just wanted to clarify that. I hope I haven't confused this anymore. But anyway, it says here that Thomas Jefferson actually used inalienable in early drafts of the Declaration of Independence, but the spelling was changed for the final draft. Unalienable was the preferred spelling until around the 1830s, but inalienable has completely replaced it in regular use. Okay? So in and un, I just wanted to clarify that again, and so I stand by what I said, because I said what I said because I meant what I said when I said what I meant what I said. That's how that goes. So, moving on here. So we have the document that's being now put online and put out there, that's talking about allodial title and taking back title of the land, folks, or taking back ownership or cohabitation of the land. See, I've always kind of emphasised to you how we have to get back to the land, and this it was very much figuratively, because I was trying to show people how the two different worlds are operating, and that it's all done by the consent. Because the consent, and there's no contest by the living. Once the living contests the fiction, it dissolves and it collapses. We can collapse the trust, can collapse the constructs, because they're not real. None of this stuff is real. You know, acts, they're actors. Statutes don't move. Bills, they're designed to get you billed. It's to regulate, to rule, to regulate, to cause division. This stuff's designed to cause division and to misdirect your valuable energy, because they know how powerful you are. And so this is why I've explained to you that we need to get back to the land. And this is not only mentally, but now, more so, more importantly, physically, folks. We need to get back to the land. You need to be garnering your subsistence from the land. Because they take away the land, that's it, folks. It's game over. Okay? It's game over. Once they take away the land from you, then that's it. You've got no substance from that point on, because once you've conscripted into these titles, once they've got you conscripted into these titles, and we do that through our signature, through the natures of our signs, through the marks that we put on pages by the pen, because we pen ourselves in, we get ourselves boxed in and jailed, and to contract is to be sucked in, and to be when water contracts, it turns to ice, it goes hard. And so they get you to go to the off ice, don't they, to fill out your inform, to get you information to apply, legal definition being big. So they again, they're telling you within the words exactly what's going on for those who have the eyes to see and realise, which is what I've been wanting a lot of you to try and comprehend, and many are now. It's great. It's a beautiful thing. It was a day I was only getting 2 to a workshop, now I can get up to 40 and more, depending on the venue. But anyway, besides that, so these documents that are coming out, they're being promoted by various groups online. They need to be understood, and you need to comprehend how to apply them and apply that. And it's simple. It's pretty simple stuff. But when you're dealing with programmed minions who are agents of the Crown, who have a vested interest in maintaining what it is they're doing, because it's just my job, I'm just doing my job, job being a Hebrew word meaning persecution, but anyway, this is what's going to happen. So this has got to be done in numbers, it's got to be done concertedly, thoughtfully, and with comprehension, knowing what it is you're doing. When you go to the councils and start presenting your allodial titles. So extremely important that you don't go putting yourselves out there and hanging yourselves on a hook, because government can pick us off one by one. So we've got to do this united, and it's got to be done with the full comprehension of knowing the fact from fiction. We've got to comprehend the difference between fact and fiction, and all the titles, all the paperwork that they present is all fiction, folks, and we can dissolve it, because it's a constructive fraud, and we can destruct it, and that's what we're doing. We've got to, because the government's coming with these SNAs, these significant natural areas that they're designating across the land, and they're only starting little small patches at the moment, but make no mistake, they're coming for all of it. And ultimately, you are the land, folks, dust to dust, ash to ash, that's what we are. From the earth we come, and from the earth we will return, and they're coming for it. Every single thing you own, and you don't even actually own it. And this is another idea with this information that's coming out, with this allodial stuff that's being presented. You don't own land, folks. You don't own land. You don't own it. It was gifted to us by the Creator, just as our bodies were. We don't own them, okay? We don't own them. We can only have subsistence from them. We can only nurture those things. We can't own it. We're only kaitiaki of the land. And so what this government's doing with these significant natural areas that they've designated, It doesn't matter how many Maori have got settlements from the government, mate. It doesn't matter how many, how much whakapapa you have to the land, folks. It doesn't matter how many white generational families you've had, Pākehā families living on your land and sustaining from the land. It doesn't matter anymore, folks. Government's coming. They're just going to rezone it and take it off you. And they're going to regulate you off your own whenua, off your own livelihood. That's everybody, folks. Doesn't matter whether you're Chinese, fucking chimpanzees, black, white or blue. They're coming for you. And this is serious stuff. So we need to get pretty serious about it. So you need to start uniting, you need to start getting behind these farmers and landowners, you need to start getting your vehicles on their land, collapsing this trust. We collapse the trust by stopping paying the system. Stop paying your rates, stop paying your rent, stop paying your mortgages, keep that money, go buy the food, go buy the utensils, go buy the vehicles. In fact, go out there and get loan as much money as you can now, folks, because this is end game. Loan as much money as you can on book up your credit cards, folks, because the game is collapsing. They're printing it hand over fist. They're devaluing, excuse me, the currents of the sea, folks. They're devaluing the value, your liquidity. They're bankrupting you, folks. So I would suggest, once you comprehend, excuse me, once you start to comprehend the gravity of what the government is now openly doing, well, they've been openly doing it for a while, actually, for those who've been looking, but it's been a needle in a haystack. But now they're starting to, they have to reveal themselves, folks, and this is what they're doing. And they're doing that because they're a cornered rat, and they know their days are numbered, because the people are waking up, the people are realising that we are the fact, mate, and you are the fiction, and we can dissolve those trusts and that construct very, very quickly and very easily. We do it in numbers. We do it by covering each other's back. Your differences you might have had before with your neighbour, mate, they're gone. They're dissolved. You better start realising it doesn't matter what nationality your neighbours are, whether they're rich, whether they're poor, how old they are, whether they're Christians, whether they're Buddhist. It don't matter no more, folks. Government's coming. I can't emphasise that fact to you enough. You have to drop down your bigotry and your biases and your phobias, because this is it. It's endgame. They're coming for the land, man. Once they've got that through title, your voices are truly silenced, man. You'll never have a voice again. Any generation will never have a voice again. So I cannot urge you enough, and I cannot impress upon you enough to get this information out there and get with the program, man, because they're now openly taking people's land off them. And these people that are maintaining this land are still having to, if these significant natural areas that they're designating still have to be maintained by the farmers and the landowners. But they're not allowed to use them, they're not allowed to even walk on them. So this is what's going on, and this is happening now. There's a lady up in the North Island now. I haven't got details of that. I'm hoping to be able to nail that down. For goodness sakes, people, get hold of her and ask her if you can start coming and parking up on her land, man, because she needs support. And there's lots of other farmers out there. Like that article I just showed you before, there's over, 900 farmers have been sent these letters saying from their council saying that their land's now going to be designated as something else. And because of that designation, they're going to have no more rights to it, even though they have to maintain the costs and the labour to maintain that land in its natural habitat. I think they're even some legislation there that they're trying to get it back to pre-human inhabitants. In fact, think about that. I think there's in legislation there somewhere. So we have to understand the gravity of what's going on here. So if you've seen some of the documentation with regards to the allodial title and the allodial claims on things, it's real, folks, okay? But you need to be garnering sustenance from that land, and there's ways of doing that, and that information's coming out as well. And it's pretty simple stuff, really. You just have to make that claim. Dig your sod, put your flag in, take a picture of it, and mark your territory on a piece of land on a council's map and to their, because it's to their, we're letting them know by their rules. We've got to use their rules against them, and they're all theirs. That's why I'm saying there's remedy within the law, okay? Because you are the law, ultimately, folks. Right. So there's these, again, I'll just show you quickly again. There's these significant natural areas. Oh, here we go. Sorry, turn you around there. These are significant natural areas that are, why is that not working? Okay, significant natural areas. They come, so, sorry, 9,000 far north property owners. Significant land areas, man, they're coming. They're coming. They've given you notification, they've notified you. It's a declaration of war, folks. Oh, he's a smiley guy too, and he? Medals, yeah, oh, he's lovely. They love raping you. Come with smiling faces, mate, they're assassins. As I said with John Key. Okay, so there's a bit of, a few words of sui juris. I just want to cover sui juris because that is covered in some of the documentation that's talked about sui juris, okay? Now, sui juris via Black's Law Dictionary, 6th edition, page 1434, sui juris is of his own right, possessing full social and civil rights, not under any legal disability, or the power of another or guardianship, having capacity to manage one's own affairs, not under legal disability legal disability to act for one's self. Okay, that's what sui juris is, because you want to start becoming, you are sui juris and you're in pro se. When you go into these, it says there, so if you're not, so if you have no sui juris has no right to act in the capacity, but rather is compelled to represent a public office as pro se. Pro se is in one's own right, and I'll just show you that from there. Pro se litigants or parties representing themselves in court without the assistance of an attorney are known as pro se litigants. Pro se is Latin for one's own, on one's own behalf. The right to appear pro se in civil US courts. But that's what that means. So that's the language that's being used there. So in one's right, I call it simply as king's right or queen's right. It's king's and queen's right by nature. So what's happening here is we've got the government legislating away the whenua under our feet, which is actually our bodies. Everybody. Somebody out there, and I'll show you some of the ways that you can start using the law against them. Now, I should have pulled this up online actually, which probably would have been a bit better. But so we have the sui juris. So it's a living man, and man being because I've explained to you before, folks, about how God created man. Yeah, well, that was mankind. It was mankind that God created. Now, whether you believe in God or not, you've all got the gift of divinity, even whether you want to believe that or not. If you want to idol someone, go look in the mirror, folks. But anyway, so you've been given the gift of divinity, which is God. God, he created the first trust, and woman is the womb of man, okay? The womb of man, the great yoni, folks. Mankind is to kindle mankind family. It's familiar, it's relative. Your relatives are your family, it's familiar, it's mankind. Kin is gold. In Japanese, kin means gold. And gold on the ethereal periodic table is AU, which is authority, because you are the author of the rights. Okay, that's how that works. So we have God-given divine rights, folks, and they are inalienable. That's how that works. So it's man. So when we talk of man, we mean the family of man. That's what that's all about. So sui juris, so all man-made law, and this is how it works too. Because, like at the top, sorry, bounces all around now. Someone actually did say to me about that's not so good for you guys bouncing you around like that. I do apologise. So at the top of the pyramid, you have God. Then you have, because God created, I shouldn't put it like that, God created man, and of course there's God's laws. There's God's laws out there, gravity and magnetism and light and all those things that are the realms that we operate in. And then we have man, and then you've got man's laws. I should probably, I think probably like that actually. Not too sure. Sometimes a bit confusing, but I think it should be lowercase l. Law, whatever you want to call it. But man-made laws. So God comes first, folks. God comes first. Then comes man. So we have God's laws. God's laws are pretty simple. Cause no harm, cause no injury. Live and let live. Do not deceive. Don't kill your neighbour. 10 commandments. All religions. Doesn't matter what religion it is. They all have these basic tenets. Don't harm. Don't cause injury. Personal property or another person. These are pretty simple stuff. But then we have man's laws. And man's laws, we know, are wrapped up in all sorts. You've got all sorts of laws out there. All sorts of different things that trap us into the legal system. Criminal law, equity law, land law, commercial law, contract law. There's that much law out there. You can go into the lawyer's office and they've got books from like the carpet to the ceiling, and they're only practicing one particular part of law, and they're still practicing. You know who they're practicing on? Pretty obvious, really, because they go in there to represent you. No one can represent you. So we've got the sui juris, okay? And so sui juris is like king's title or queen's title. And, anything that's written on a paper in words is a construct, folks. Anything that's written in word is constructs. That's why I've always said words are contracts. They're there to contract you, to close you down, to pen you in. That's why the pen is mightier than the sword, because it entraps your mind into a pen, into a jail, into a cell, into a blood cell, because you leave your mark. Okay, so so that's the aspect of sui juris. Artificial, according to Black's law here, created by art or law, existing only by force of or in contemplation of law. References Black's Law Dictionary. They've also written there's some things in this document, I didn't put this document together actually, but there are some things in here that I myself would not quite have said, but silence is good. I disagree with that, because only the dead are silent. Only the dead are silent, folks. But anyway, and because, when you're living, you're in voice. And then you have the ability to order, as kings and queens do. That's what we do. We have the ability to order, because we're kings and queens of our lives. We're not over here being ill. Being ill. They try to get us to be ill, don't they? They send us to be ill. Well, they want you to be ill, mate, because they want you to be paying. I'll show you how that works. They're paying. They want you to be paying, folks. They want you to be paying. They want the land to pay, because it's a tax. And they do that by a tax, which is a tax. And that's done by the inland revenue. See, they tell you exactly what they're up to, mate. They're into a tax and pain. And they're telling you right to your face what they're doing. Well, they're getting a bit more nasty about it now, because these significant natural areas that they're designating, they're gonna take the land from right under your feet by slipping a paper title in between your soul, your barefoot soul, and the whenua. And they're gonna slip that contract in between your feet and the earth, and that's it, folks. You're done. And that's what's coming. They're doing it. They're doing it now. So I'm suggesting you get with your whānau and your friends and your mates, and you go support a farmer and a landowner, and you do it quick. And you book up your credit cards, and you cancel your rents and your... Man, because I tell you, they're coming for you, folks, and it's the only way you're going to stop it. It's the only way you're going to be able to stop what's coming. Get back to the land, because they're going to steal it. They're already putting restrictions on the food that farmers can grow. They're already bringing in synthetic meat, folks. Synthetic meat. You gonna eat that shit? You gonna eat that shit? Synthetic meat and fake milk formula powders. You gonna take that shit? I tell you, it's time to wake up, folks. The writing's on the wall, and they're telling you exactly what they're doing. So I would suggest you get your shit together, you book up your credit cards, you stop paying your mortgages, and you get off the land and you get out there and start saving these farmers and yourselves, because that's what it ultimately means. Start your community gardens. Start uniting. Start getting back on the fenua and growing gardens. Because it's time, folks. They're coming. They're coming. They got UN troops here. They got foreign troops here doing domestic terrorist exercises. They're coming. They've told you clearly. And so it's time to rally, folks. It's time to get off the keyboard. It's time to start getting out there. Start finding a farmer, getting on the land. Get your wagons, get your mobile accommodations, and you get out there, folks. You start growing, you start uniting. It's going to be hard, but, you know, you want to be free, don't you? You want to be free. Yay, now you can exercise that responsibility, because that's what it means. Shitload of responsibility. That's what a keyboard warriors all want to be free, but you got to be able to get out there on the land. That's called the ability to be able to respond. That's the responsibility, folks. It's time to pick it up, because there's obligations involved with those responsibilities. So I suggest you do it, and quick. Get yourselves organised. You've probably got a couple of months to 6 months, and that's it. That's your window. So I'd suggest you get your shit together, start uniting, drop all your trivial bullshit, focus on the same goal, folks, and that's retaining the whenua and staying alive. Retaining the whenua and staying alive, man. This is the Exodus. Maybe I should call this one the Exodus. The Exodus needs to start, folks. Starts with you, the individuals, and the ability to be able to respond. And by God, that time is here. The time is now, folks, because they're telling you these significant natural areas, mate. And ultimately, did you know that that's what you are? Aren't you a significant natural area? Go and claim that. Go on to your council and say, oh, I'm a significant natural area. You want to try and dictate me? You want to tell me what parts of my body I can't use? Come on, folks. Time's getting short. The window's closing. They're telling you what's going on. They've got you into trust. They've got you into artificial titles, and you're all running around there operating in the public. And you're open for salvage, folks. You're being raped, pillaged, and plundered. How obvious does it need to be? How much more dissent and how many more people on the streets do we need to see? How many more suicides do we need to have? How many more elderly trapped in friggin' homes being drugged and jabbed and what? Come on, people. That's war. You need to wake up. Seriously. I'm extremely concerned. I'm an extremely concerned member of the public. No, I'm not. I'm an extremely concerned member of the community. And you should be too. And we need the common unity, folks. And we need to wake up. Wake up. Because it's fucking here. I'm telling you. They're coming for you. They might be knocking on your door yet, but they're knocking on the neighbour down the road. Need to fucking wake up, people. Look into the set of KV trusts. That's where they got the original trust from. They certified you're all dead. You're all dead. You had 7 years to go back and claim that you were alive and to reclaim your estate. We've never done that. And through the birth certificate, they declared you're all dead. They declared you're all dead, folks. Dead in the water. And you're open for salvage. And they've been raping, pillaging and plundering you by the law of the sea for a long time. Ever since they developed the word Maori, and they trademarked that, and your iwi, and they trademarked that, they made a contract out of that. Fuck, it don't matter what colour you are, mate. It don't matter what treaty or proclamation or constitution or flag you think you fucking got. It's gone. It's gone, mate. They've sold it. You've titled yourself out. It's gone. Stop fighting for that shit, mate. They put the piece of paper in between your soul and the earth. They've contracted you. And until you wake up and realise the power that you have is fact over fiction, mate, you're going to get what you deserve. So get in your tribes, man. Wake up. Get in your walkers. Get on your walkers. Pick up your friggin' oar. Because they're coming. You've got to stop bitching with each other. Because they're coming, folks. They're coming for you. In mass. I'm just trying to turn my camera around here. So it's pretty serious stuff what's going on. Okay, so you start learning about this stuff really quickly. Really quickly, folks, and start actioning it. Start claiming your allodial titles. Your titles of the land. And that means your sustenance from it. So you go out there and you plant a garden somewhere on conservation land, that's yours, bro. That's yours. You're gaining sustenance from the land. Because you're alive. You're living. You're able to sustain and grow. That's what it's about. So you've seen these documents of fact that are being also presented around. Understand, comprehend them, folks. You've got to comprehend them. You've got to learn to be able to comprehend these things. Okay, you guys can stop this later on and have a look at this document and read it through. I'll try and get it so you can. But, I mean, it's serious. This is really serious, folks. The writing is on the wall. Living man is not bound by legislation, acts, statutes. It's all paper fictions, folks. It's all a paper fiction. But unfortunately, through their paper fictions, they are able to enforce. And that's what they're doing. They're coming, folks. They're coming, no doubt about it. Through these significant natural areas, man. 9,000 far north properties. That's just a start. I know there's a few groups out there that are really doing some good work. The AAG group, agricultural group. Be good if you guys can support them. Go along to their meetings. Start forming your own meetings. In fact, folks, you need to start beginning your own meetings. Start getting your own groups together really quick. You haven't got a lot of time. There's not a lot of time for this. There's no time to be mucking around. I can't express to you the urgency. No, sorry, another way around. I can't express to you the urgency of getting motivated, getting activated, getting in action, folks. Because if you don't act, you'll be acted upon. If you don't act, you will be acted upon. And this is what they're doing. Through their pieces of paper and through their authorizing and derogating powers to others, this is what they're doing. They're coming for the land, and you are the land. If you're going to sit back and let that happen, then you get what you deserve. You get the foot on your face for the whole of mankind. Just as George Orwell said, folks. Just as George Orwell told us, you know. And it doesn't matter whether it's a left boot or a right boot that's sitting on your face. It's stomping you. And here in Aotearoa, we've got the ticket. Man, have we got the ticket. They call us the testing ground and the guinea pigs. Man, do they not know the power of what they've labelled us as? Man, are we going to guinea pig the world into a whole new way? Because we've got it here. We've got our ability to grow all our own food, to sustain ourselves, our own energy. Man, we could all be thriving. There should be no one starving in this country. No one starving in this land. And so you need to get your shit together, folks. Start getting your family, whatever that be, your tribe, whatever it is. Book up your friggin' credit card. Stop paying your fucking rents and your mortgages. Get out there and support your farmers. Start building your bivouacs and your food gardens and that. You've got to do it, folks. It's got to be done. This is it, man. Seriously, the writing's on the wall. This is the call. You're being called. You know you're being called. You don't find, you don't arrive at tables like with information like this if you're not ready. You are it. We need you. So get your shit together. Get your whānau together. Get your family and your friends together. Start comprehending the fact that you don't own the land. But they've taken it off you through paper titles. And because you're playing with paper titles saying, yeah, I own this, I own that, you fucking don't. They've got control over you through pieces of paper. Okay? You don't own the land, folks. I don't care how many titles you think you got. I don't care how many generations you think you've had on that piece of whenua. You do not own that land. You've got to get that through your thick heads and stop fighting for those fucking imagined boundaries. You've got no boundaries, folks. The land has no boundary, folks. The land is unlimited because it goes under the water. The water sits on the land. The construct of the legal system sits on the land. Oh, I can't even turn it around now. It sits on the land. It's dead in the water. It's drowning us all in unfathomable rules and regulations via the colour of law and the hue of man. They've got us dead in the sea, folks. And they've given us their final warning. They've told us those significant natural areas, which is you, they're coming after them through the titles. Through the titles, they're coming. They told you. So the UN, we've all, Jacinda's real happy how she signed us all up to the UN, and we're one of the countries that's the furthest down the road to implementing all the steps of the United Nations Declaration of Slavery. Because they're coming, okay? So it's probably one of the more gravitas videos I've done, or YouTube vids I've done. I'll upload this on my YouTube channel here shortly. But I can't impress upon you people enough the urgency of what is going on here and how quick you need to start mobilising. Talk time's over, folks. Talk time's over. Time to start getting the feet on the whenua, taking up the patu, or whatever it is, the staff. It's time to start taking back the power, folks. Start getting yourselves informed and start informing others of the artificial constructs that have got us into the fairy world of the ether, the fairy tale ghostic powers that control the physical. That's you. Come on, people. Time is short. They're coming for the whenua. And if you don't act now, it's gone. You've got probably 4 to 6 months and it's gone, folks. That piece of paper they slip in between your foot, the sole of your foot and the earth, that piece of artificial construct that they put below your feet, a pitfall, pit hole that you all fell into. Time to wake up. Time to get back on the land. Start dissolving all the petty. Everything else is petty compared to this, folks. You need to understand the gravitas of it. Because they're coming. And I told you they're coming, and they've virtually given you a timeline. So you need to start really getting into this stuff and start looking into it. I mean, it's just about too late for that. I mean, and once you people start getting together, I mean, naturally, as community, as natural, loving, compassionate, empathetic, moral creatures that we are, mate, we will get along. We will get along. We know how to, you know, human beings have been cohabiting for as long as history tells us. It's our natural state. So these are just, I'll just give you these. You can go and look these up. These are your tickets and legislation. So you've got the Secret Commissions Act 1910, Section 6, giving false receipt, invoice, etc. to agent and offence. This goes into anything that is sent to you under the legal name, via the post office, via the government, artificial constructs. All that shit that's got your name on it that you think is your name is not your name, okay? It's not you. You're not obligated to it, but you keep putting your pen back to it, becoming a signatory to it and becoming a surety to it every time you put your pen on that document. Claim the allodial title, none of this applies to you. None of those constructs apply to you anymore. That's how it works, folks. Okay, number 7, delivery of false receipt, etc. to principal and offence. You are the principal. Make that clear. You are the principal of the trust. You're the beneficiary of the trust. And you the ultimate trustee also, yeah. But this is what's going on. This is the legislation you need to look at. Okay? This is your defence against anything, any of these, because now, you know, once you start paying your mortgage, once you start paying your rates, and once you start paying your rents and all that sort of stuff, they're going to come after you, and they're going to start sending you all sorts of letters. But they're going to start sending you letters under the construct's name, okay, under the artificial entity's name. And you can collapse those trusts through the allodial claim. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to claim go through the allodial claim, and it gives you king's title again. And they can't move past that. And so, any of these they're contractual instruments. Anything the government sends you with your name on it is a contractual instrument. And so by you interacting with that artificial construct, you give it life. The more you argue with it, the more you interact with it, the more you give it life. You've got to start taking the breath away from it. Collapse the trust. Collapse the construct. And you do that through the allodial claim. And so anything that these individuals or these agencies, these false constructs, sorry, I've just got a new plate in me gob and I'm still getting used to it. But anyway, these new constructs that they've, these artificial constructs that they've got them in can be easily dissolved. Okay? This one here again, Secret Commissions Act 1910, Part 8, receiving secret reward for procuring contracts and offence. See, they're making a shitload of money off your contracts, right? They're making a lot of money off your contracts. They're getting you to fill in your consensus form every 4 years or whatever it is. They're getting you to vote. They're getting you to apply for things. Every time you apply for something, you're actually begging for something that is your right. Even if you... Because you're the creator, remember? You create. You create through your interaction. But you don't want to be creating false and fraudulent constructs, folks, which is what the government is presenting to you for you to interact with. And you're thinking, oh yeah, I've got to fill out this form and do that because I need to get a licence and I need to get a permit and I need to ask for permission. No, a permit to permission. Licence comes from licentious, which actually means unlawful, sexually lewd. Because this is what it is. They've got to tell you what they're doing. This is what I've been trying to impress upon you throughout the videos on my YouTube channel, is that they've got you into false constructs via the words. And once you control the words and the meanings of the words and present back to them, using their language, because there is always remedy within the law. As I've expressed many times, there's got to be remedy within the law, and there is. It's the needle in the haystack. It's not so much even a needle in the haystack, it's just a matter of garnering the concept that they operate in false constructs, false contracts. They operate in fiction. Fact cannot override fiction. You keep thinking you're the name on the piece of paper, the false artificial construct that they're offering you, and you keep entering into their game, voluntarily by consent. Without contest, no less. So these are your avenues out. You present these back to them whenever they send anything or make any claim against you. Aiding and abetting offences. Anyone involved in this stuff, you're in trouble. You're committing offence by being involved in this stuff. Penalty of conviction. We all want to have conviction, don't we? Well, best we get some conviction and start applying some of this with a bit of conviction. Because these are your tickets out. You're claiming a allodial title, and anything they send from you to you after that is an artificial construct, and it's up to them to provide proof of the claim. He who makes the claim must provide proof of the claim. So anything, and even in these claims of rights, like I've been through that process over a decade ago, the claim of right process, I've done all that. I've been there and done all that. The easiest statement, the most simple statement that you can give back to them is, please provide proof for anything you claim I cannot do. That's pretty simple. Please provide a proof for anything you claim I cannot do. Now, a lot of people think, oh, well, that means you can go and do anything. No, it fucking doesn't. Doesn't mean you can do anything, because we, as sovereign, aware, loving creatures, operate by certain laws. The laws of love, the laws of compassion, the laws of empathy, the laws of simplicity, in fact. Simply knowing that if I'm over here sitting on a big pile of food and all my neighbours are starving, I mean, come on, people. Come on. That's not how it fucking works. Excuse my English, in fact, because that's what it is. It's fucking English. It's in the English dictionary. For fuck's sakes. So this is it. They've got us into these false constructs via the words, mate, and deception. It's deceptive. But the intent isn't deception. You can't... See, this is another thing I tried to impress upon these people this weekend, that there's a big difference between fact and fiction. Fiction is any adjective you apply to a word. So if you say, oh, the government had intent to deceive. No, they didn't. No, they didn't, because they've told you exactly what they're doing to you. They've told you exactly what they've done, they've told you exactly what they're doing, and they've now, through these significant natural areas, told you exactly what they're going to do to you. Okay? They're going to regulate you off your land. And once you've lost access to the land, folks, it's game over. And so you've got 6 months. Get your shit together, stop paying your mortgages, stop paying your rates, book up as much as you can in the credit system because they're about to collapse that on you. And this is it, folks. We're only one lockdown away from it. One lockdown. One power cut. One breakdown in the fuel supply. One breakdown in the food supply. We're in a very precarious situation, folks. So I cannot impress upon you the urgency of listening to what I've told you, listening to what I've shown you, and then making a very crucial decision, because it's decision time, folks. It seriously is. The writing's on the wall and the crosshairs are on you guys. They've got us lined up and they're about to pull the fucking trigger on us. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what titles you think you had. It doesn't matter what fucking, how many generations you've had on your land, mate. When they slip that piece of paper in between your feet and the earth and cut off your soul, it doesn't matter. All those paper fucking contracts that give you the right to the land that you know you don't own, you know you don't fucking own it. You know you don't own it. We know it's kaitiaki. We don't own the land. Shit. Everyone knows that. So this is it. This is a call out. She's the exodus, people. Get out of the cities. Go and book up as much as you can on your credit cards. Get what it is you need to survive out in the country. Get your tools. Get your guns. Get everything and get back to the land, folks, because they're coming for it. Those significant natural areas, mate, that's you. And they've told you. You got 6 months. Probably not even that, man. If they throw us into lockdown, oh, mate, she's game over. You seen what happened before? You seen the result of what happened before? Come on, folks. Come on, shit's getting real. So get real, people. Get off the fucking keyboards. Start collapsing the system. And we can do it so easily. So easily, man. That money. Money's the key. Convert your fiat currencies into physical commodities that you can use on the land and survival. Book up those credit cards, bro, because there's 3 months. They got 3 months before they can fucking touch you. And in 3 months' time, man, she's going to be a different world, folks. Especially if they've locked you down again. And it's coming. No jab, no this. No jab, no that. Come on, people. The fucking writing's on the wall. Significant natural areas is you. They're coming for you. I cannot impress that enough. This is serious shit, folks. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, get in your tribes, man. Fucking stop paying your fucking amenities. Because they're cutting off your power. They're cutting off your food. It's coming. They're doing it to you. They've told you. UN, United Nations, you know, these doctrines they've got you, Agenda 21, Agenda 30, Committee of 300, Trilateral Commission, World Economic Forum. I mean, come on, folks, they fucking told you. And now the government, through the councils, coming and targeting the farmers. This lady up in the North Island who's been targeted, she's been pushed off her land. The councils are arriving there with the police, telling her she's got no right to her land anymore. That's coming. 9,000 farm owners in the far north. There's 7,000 down in the South Island now that have been rolled up. They're pissed off. They're pissed off. But what's unfortunate about this is that the government education system's got all the university students thinking the farmers are the biggest assholes on earth. I mean, that's how disconnected it is. They think they're the fucking biggest assholes on earth, and yet they're the ones that are feeding them. Fucking hello. So people need to get their shit together. You need to fucking rally now. Book up your fucking credit cards, folks. Stop paying your amenities. Your power company's got 3 months to fucking cut your power off. I'm telling you, folks, you need to fucking seriously do this shit. And if you're too scared to do it on your own, get in groups. Get in groups of yours, go and fill out your fucking allodial title forms, walk into the council 50 years at a time or whatever it is, as many as possible. As many as possible. It's got to be done in force. Don't let them pick us off. Don't sit around letting them pick us off one by one. Oh, I didn't stand up for the Jews. I wasn't a Jew. I didn't stand up for the Christians. I wasn't a Christian. I didn't give a fuck about the unions because I wasn't a union. So I didn't stand up or speak up against them either. And then all of a sudden, I've got no neighbours. I've got no friends. I've got no people or anyone in my community. And I'm standing there, my voice shouting out alone. Don't be that guy. Don't be that group. If you've got any self-dignity, self-value, self-worth, you know, fuck people. How much are you gonna take? Well, there's a few of us drawing our lines in the sand, and hopefully you out there will be one of them as well. Because for whom the bell tolls, my friends, and it's ringing fucking loud. So yeah, so hopefully you can comprehend what I've said here. I've given you a few clues, a few acts and statutes there. You know, this stuff's not hard, folks. I know, as I've been trying to point out for a long time, this stuff is not hard. You know, once you start looking at a few interpretations and a few definitions, you can start finding the holes in their story, folks. And it's a story. It's a fucking fairy story. No, in fact, it's a horror story. It's a horror story. So if you want to support me, I'm Not the Norm. It's my YouTube channel there. You can find me as Te Ariki Pauhere Uramana. I'm obviously on Facebook. People are watching me here now, but for those that aren't, that's where you can find me. And even, in fact, I'll give you my email address if you want to contact me for anything there. There's my email address there. For anything. And look, folks. Look, I'm pretty skilled on this stuff. I can present it and I can put it across. So if you want me to come to your area or your town or anything like that, man, you pay for my food, my accommodation, mate, and I'm there. That's how important this is. I've got a wife and kids. I've got a family. I've got people I care about and love about. I love you guys. We don't stand out here putting our necks on the fucking line because it gives us some kind of accolade. Man, we cop some shit for doing this. Well, fuck you. Fuck your shit. Wake up. So if you want me to come to your area and help school up your people, or have a talk, or get the kōrero going, or get the feet on the floor and fucking moving, I'm happy to do that. And I'll do that anytime, anywhere. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys, man. Because I understand and comprehend that it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me and it's bigger than you. It's bigger than all of us, man. We can't comprehend it. But by God, we can do something on the ground. That's all we can do. So that's me, Not the Norm. Over and out. Love and light to you all. Hopefully you've got a little bit of motivation and a little bit of urgency in your blood now. Got your blood flowing a little bit. This information's out there. Get out and support these farmers, folks. Start educating these people in the city. Start educating the young ones. It's not the farmers' fault. Man, they're getting regulated off the land, and these significant natural areas, that's you folks, they're coming for you. They're coming for you and your family and your whenua. So yeah. So love and light. We do this in peace, but by God, we've got some passion. So let's start waking the lions up out there, folks. Because we're starting to get pissed off. You start pissing off a few of us lions, mate, we're trouble. So come on. Let's start causing a bit of trouble. Let's start taking back ownership of this fucking system. As we should. Thanks, people. Love yous all. We win. We win.